They say time heals everything, but the truth is, time only shows you who and what was really worth it. People will play with your loyalty like it's replaceable. They'll gamble with your presence like you ain't one of one. But the day you finally walk away, the day you finally stop answering, stop explaining, stop giving them chances, they feel that silence louder than any word you ever spoke. That's when regret kicks in. That's when they realize they lost something they can't buy back, can't beg back, can't rewind back. But listen, just because they regret it doesn't mean you return. Regret is their lesson, not your obligation. Don't confuse their late apology with growth. Don't confuse their tears with change. Don't confuse their longing with love. You already showed them your worth the first time, they just couldn't see it. And when someone can't recognize gold in their hands, you don't hand it back once they drop it in the dirt. You keep moving. You keep building, you keep shining, because the truth is, they will regret losing you, but your power is in never letting them have that chance again. Knowing your worth is the foundation of everything. Too often people hand over their sense of value like it's something negotiable, like it's something that can be traded depending on how others treat them. But that's not how it works. You're not valuable because somebody claps for you, compliments you, or sticks around. You're valuable because of what you are, what you carry inside, and the energy you bring when you walk into a space. The problem is people forget this. They confuse validation with value. And when they don't get the approval, the affection, the recognition they want from others, they start thinking maybe they're not enough. That mindset is dangerous because it gives someone else the power to define who you are. And the second you let somebody else define you, you've already lost. Validation is addictive. It feels good when people say they need you, when they admire you, when they choose you. But the danger is if you start relying on it, you'll chase it. You'll adjust yourself just to keep it coming. You'll dim your light so nobody feels threatened. You'll settle for less so you can keep being wanted. And you'll sacrifice your own peace to make sure people don't walk away. That's not love. That's not respect. That's fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being overlooked. Fear of not mattering. And when you move out of fear, you compromise. The truth is, you should never have to compromise your worth for acceptance. Your presence is the prize. Not everyone is supposed to win it. When somebody loses you, it's not your loss. If they didn't respect you, if they didn't recognize what they had, if they play with your loyalty, they're the ones who threw away something rare. But here's the trap: when they come back, when they realize the void you left behind, they'll try to make you believe that you should take them in again. They'll try to convince you that your worth increases only when they acknowledge it. That's backwards. You don't become valuable because someone regrets losing you. You were already valuable when they had you. They just couldn't see it. Their regret is a reflection of their own blindness, not a confirmation of your greatness. Never mistake their late recognition as proof you're finally worth it. You've been worth it. You don't need their apology, their approval, or their validation to confirm that. You got to build a mindset that treats your value like something untouchable. Think about gold. Whether someone throws it in the dirt, whether it sits in a drawer, whether it's held up in a museum, gold doesn't lose its value. It doesn't stop shining because people don't notice it. It doesn't become worthless because somebody mishandles it. It remains what it is. That's how you got to see yourself. Your worth isn't determined by how others handle you. It's inherent. People may walk away, people may mistreat you, people may overlook you. None of that changes the fact that you're gold. The only thing that can change is whether you believe it or not. A lot of people lose themselves in relationships, friendships, even family ties because they forget this principle. They think, if this person leaves, what does that say about me? They think, if they don't choose me, maybe I'm not good enough. They think, if they found a better, maybe I wasn't valuable to begin with. That's the wrong lens. If somebody leaves, it doesn't expose your weakness. It exposes their inability to see your strength. If somebody disrespects you, it doesn't prove you're not worth respect. It proves they don't know how to respect valuable things. If somebody takes you for granted, it doesn't mean you're not worth appreciation. It means they're blind to what's in front of them. Stop putting their choices on your shoulders. Their actions don't define your worth. Only your standards do. When you know your worth, you stop negotiating your value. You stop explaining why you deserve loyalty, why you deserve honesty, why you deserve love. You understand that those are bare minimums, not luxuries. You stop chasing people who make you feel like you gotta beg for the basics. And most importantly, you stop giving second chances to people who showed you that they couldn't recognize your value the first time. Because taking them back isn't just about forgiving them. It's about lowering your standard for yourself. It's about saying, I'll accept your version of my worth instead of my own. And once you start doing that, it's a cycle that repeats. You'll keep letting people back in who don't deserve you because you're relying on them to give you something you should already given yourself, validation. The way to break that cycle is to root your identity in something bigger than people's opinions. You need to know who you are before anybody else tries to tell you. You need to understand your talents, your character, your resilience, your spirit. You need to spend enough time with yourself that you know exactly what you bring to the table. So when somebody tries to play games with you, you don't even flinch. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to wait for them to realize what they lost. You already know what you are. And because of that, you can walk away from situations that no longer honor you without hesitation. You don't need their apology, their closure, their change of heart. You are your own confirmation. This mindset doesn't just protect your peace, it elevates your life. When you don't settle, when you don't chase, when you don't allow yourself to be defined by others, you free up your energy to focus on growth. You start building instead of begging. You start leveling up instead of looking back. You start surrounding yourself with people who see your worth instantly without having to lose you first. And that's where you thrive because you're not wasting energy proving yourself to people who already showed you they couldn't handle you. You're investing energy into becoming even more of who you are, and that makes you unstoppable. At the end of the day, the biggest lesson is this: never let your worth depend on someone else's vision. People's opinions change, their feelings fade, their loyalty shifts, but your value is constant. It doesn't rise when they love you and it doesn't fall when they leave you. It is what it is, whether they see it or not. So stop chasing validation. Stop handing out discounts on your value just to be accepted. Stop allowing people to convince you that their regret means you should reopen the door. They didn't see you when they had you, and that's their loss to live with. Your job is to keep knowing, keep moving, and keep shining because your worth was never up for debate. Pain is one of the greatest teachers life gives us, but most people run from it. They treat it like a curse, like a punishment, like something that only breaks you down. But pain isn't here just to hurt. It's here to shape, to refine, to reveal. Every time you get betrayed, every time you get abandoned, every time you feel that sharp cut of disappointment, you're being given a chance to grow into something stronger. Pain is like fire. It can destroy or it can purify. The difference lies in how you use it. If you let it, pain will burn you into ashes. But if you face it, it will burn away the illusions, the weaknesses, the dead weight you were carrying, and leave behind a stronger, sharper version of you. Growth after pain is about refusing to let what broke you be the final chapter. It's about taking the wound and turning it into wisdom, turning the loss into fuel, turning the setback into a setup for your next elevation. The reason pain is so powerful is because it's undeniable. You can fake being happy, you can mask insecurity, you can cover doubt with confidence, but pain cuts through all of that. When you're hurt, you can't lie to yourself, you can't pretend it didn't happen. It forces you to sit with the truth, and that's where growth begins. Pain exposes what you ignored. It shows you who was real and who was fake. It shows you what you depended on too much. It shows you what you weren't paying attention to in yourself. Think about heartbreak. It doesn't just hurt because somebody left. It hurts because it reveals how much of yourself you gave away, how much of your worth you tied to their presence. And that's why growth comes after pain, because the pain forces you to face things you would have kept hiding otherwise. Pain also builds resilience. Once you survive the kind of hurt that made you question everything, you carry a strength with you that can't be taught in comfort. You can't develop endurance without resistance. You can't develop courage without fear. You can't develop wisdom without mistakes. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived something that could have destroyed you. And if you survived it, it means you're stronger now. People who've never been through anything might look happy on the outside, but the ones who've walked through fire and came out the other side, those are the ones who carry a different kind of power. They know how to endure. They know how to rebuild. They know how to keep moving even when everything inside them is telling them to stop. That's the strength pain gives you, but only if you let it shape you instead of break. The danger comes when people let pain trap them instead of transform them. Some people take betrayal and let it make them bitter. They take heartbreak and let it convince them they'll never love again. They take failure and let it stop them from ever trying again. That's the wrong way to use pain. Pain wasn't sent to keep you stuck. It was sent to wake you up, to show you what you're capable of becoming if you keep pushing. Growth after pain is about refusing to let the story end in the wound. The wound is just the opening. The transformation comes when you decide not to waste it. Every bad situation has a lesson hidden inside it, but you have to be willing to extract it. If you let pain make you bitter, it wins. If you let pain make you wiser, you think about the times you leveled up in life. Most of them didn't come from comfort. They came after you went through something you didn't think you could handle. Maybe it was a loss, maybe it was rejection, maybe it was being forced to start over. At first it crushed you. You felt like you couldn't breathe. But over time, that same pain pushed you to hustle harder, to think differently, to value yourself more. If that situation never happened, maybe you would have stayed the same. Maybe you would have stayed comfortable in a place that wasn't meant for you. Growth doesn't usually happen when everything is easy. It happens when everything is falling apart. Pain forces you to grow because it doesn't give you another choice. And when you embrace that, when you start running from it, you start realizing that pain wasn't your enemy, it was your trainer. It was preparing you for a higher version of yourself. Another truth about growth after pain is that it changes your vision. When you've been through deep hurt, you start seeing things differently. You don't move the same, you don't tolerate the same, you don't waste time on the same distractions. Pain sharpens your focus because it teaches you how short life is, how real loyalty is, how important peace is. Suddenly you don't chase after shallow things anymore. You stop entertaining people who don't bring value. You stop ignoring your intuition. You start building with purpose. Pain has a way of stripping away everything that doesn't matter so you can finally see what does. And that shift in vision is what leads to real growth. Growth after pain also builds empathy. When you've been broken before, you move differently with others. You understand their silence, their struggle, their hesitation. You know what it feels like to suffer, so you don't judge as quickly. That's another gift pain gives you if you use it right. It makes you stronger, but it also makes you softer in the right ways. Stronger in your boundaries, softer in your compassion. And when you carry both of those at the same time, you become a better leader, a better friend, a better human. That balance is powerful, and it only comes from walking through pain and refusing to let it make you cold. The core of growth after pain is about perspective. You can look at pain as the end of something, or you can look at it as the beginning of something greater. You can look at it as the thing that ruined you or the thing that revealed you. You can either let it define you as broken or let it refine you into unbreakable. The choice is always yours. You can't control what hurts you, but you can control what you do with it. You can either let it hold you hostage or let it hand you the keys to your next level. That's the real power of growth after pain, realizing that the very thing you thought would destroy you is actually the same thing that built you into who you were meant to be. Energy is the most valuable currency you have. It's worth more than money, more than material possessions, because it shapes how you live, how you move, and how you impact the world. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every step you take is fueled by energy. Without it, you can't create, you can't build, you can't dream, you can't heal. That's why protecting your energy is not optional, it's survival. Too many people give away their energy carelessly, pouring themselves into people and situations that drain them, leaving nothing left for themselves. They think being everything for everybody makes them strong, but all it really does is leave them empty. Respecting your energy means realizing it's limited, sacred, and not everybody deserves access to it. You can tell when your energy is being mishandled. You feel drained after certain conversations. You feel heavy after spending time with certain people. You feel stuck when you give too much time to things that don't align with your purpose. That's your spirit warning you. But a lot of people ignore those signals because they don't want to disappoint anyone. They don't want to set boundaries. They don't want to look selfish. The truth is, boundaries aren't selfish. They're necessary. Every time you let somebody disrespect your time, your peace, your heart, you're teaching them it's acceptable. And every time you give your energy to things that don't pour back into you, you're depleting the same power you need to grow. Respecting your energy means knowing when to say no, knowing when to walk away, and knowing that not everyone who wants your attention deserves your presence. People often confuse availability with loyalty. They think if you love someone, you should always be available to them no matter how they treat you. That's not loyalty, that's self-neglect. Real loyalty doesn't mean destroying yourself to keep someone else comfortable. It doesn't mean sacrificing your peace so they don't feel lonely. Respecting your energy means understanding that your well-being comes first, because if you don't protect yourself, you won't have anything left to give anyway. You can't pour from an empty cup. The best version of you, the strong, creative, loving, ambitious version, only exists when your energy is intact. When you let people drain you, you're not just hurting yourself, you're robbing the world of your fullest potential. Energy is contagious, and that's why you have to be intentional about where you place it. When you're around negativity long enough, it rubs off. When you're surrounded by doubt, fear, and gossip, it affects how you think and move. That's why respecting your energy also means curating your environment. You can't control everything, but you can control who you give access to. Some people come into your life only to feed off your light without ever bringing their own. They'll drain your spirit with complaints, drama, and chaos, then leave you feeling empty. Others will inspire you, uplift you, and make you better just by being around them. You have to learn the difference and start making choices accordingly. Not everyone deserves to share your space. Protecting your energy means choosing wisely who you stand next to. Another way people waste their energy is on things they can't control. They replay conversations, dwell on mistakes, obsess over outcomes they have no power to change. All of that burns energy that could be spent on building, creating, and moving forward. Respecting your energy means being disciplined about where your focus goes. If it's out of your control, let it go. If it doesn't align with your growth, release it. If it doesn't feed your soul, stop giving it attention. Every second you spend feeding negativity is a second you could have invested in your future. Your energy is too valuable to waste on things that don't serve your vision. Sometimes the hardest part about respecting your energy is letting people go. You might love them, you might have history, you might want to see them do better, but if they consistently drain you, disrespect you, or block your growth, keeping them around is a form of disrespect to yourself. Loyalty doesn't mean sticking with people who are toxic to your spirit. It means being loyal to your own peace first. Because the truth is, if someone really cares about you, they won't keep putting you in positions where you feel drained, used, or undervalued. They'll respect your energy as much as you do. And if they don't, they're not meant to stay. Respecting your energy requires courage. The courage to walk away from anything that doesn't protect your spirit. When you start respecting your energy, your life shifts. You stop running in circles with people who only bring confusion. You stop entertaining situations that only waste your time. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop sacrificing your dreams to keep other people comfortable. And when you do that, you unlock a different level of focus. You realize how much power you have when you're not constantly drained. Your creativity expands, your confidence grows, your peace deepens. You start moving with purpose instead of exhaustion. That's the reward for respecting your energy. It multiplies everything else you do. Respecting your energy also means respecting how you talk to yourself. A lot of people don't realize the biggest drain on their energy isn't other people, it's their own self-talk. They beat themselves down with doubt, with guilt, with fear. They replay their failures like a broken record. They kill their own motivation before anyone else has the chance. Protecting your energy means speaking life into yourself. It means affirming your own worth even when nobody else does. It means being patient with your progress and kind to yourself in the process. Because if your internal energy is toxic, no amount of external peace will save you. Your energy starts inside first. At the same time, respecting your energy requires discipline. You can't complain about being drained if you keep putting yourself in the same situations that drain you. You can't say you want peace but keep chasing chaos. You can't say you want growth but keep feeding distractions. Energy management is responsibility. It's not just about avoiding what drains you, it's about intentionally choosing what fuels you. That might mean waking up earlier, cutting out unhealthy habits, spending more time on your goals, meditating, praying, or surrounding yourself with people who push you to elevate. It's not just about protecting energy, it's about cultivating it, renewing it, and expanding it. Because when your energy is full, you move differently. You walk with confidence, you speak with clarity, you attract opportunities that align with your spirit. At the core, respecting your energy is about self-respect. It's about knowing you are too valuable to keep giving yourself away recklessly. It's about knowing that your peace matters more than their opinion. Your growth matters more than their comfort. Your spirit matters more than their validation. When you start living by that, you don't just protect your energy, you honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, everything else in life starts to align. Regret is a heavy weight, but it doesn't belong to you when someone loses you. Too often people try to hand it back to you, like you should carry their guilt, their shame, their late realization of what they had. But that's not your responsibility. When someone had access to your time, your loyalty, your love, and they misused it, They created their own regret. That's their lesson to live with, not your burden to hold. The moment you start carrying their regret, you start living for their healing instead of your own. You start making their mistake your problem. That's how cycles repeat. When you allow yourself to become the cushion for someone else's consequences. When people lose something valuable, they always realize too late. That's the nature of human behavior. When something is consistent, they take it for granted. When someone shows up day after day, they think it'll never end. When someone loves them deeply, they assume it's permanent. Then the day comes when you finally step back, when you stop answering calls, when you stop fighting for a connection, they stop valuing, and that's when reality hits them. They realize the love they had doesn't show up in every corner of the world. They realize loyalty like yours doesn't just exist everywhere. They realize your energy wasn't replaceable. Your presence wasn't common. And that realization burns. But the pain of that realization is not your pain to heal, it's theirs. But the trap is when they come back carrying regret in their hands like an apology, trying to place it on you. They'll say they've changed. They'll say they finally see your worth. They'll say they can do better this time, and if you're not careful, you'll start thinking their regret is proof of your value. You'll start thinking that maybe the apology means you should take them back. But here's the truth. Regret doesn't equal respect. Someone can regret losing you without being capable of treating you right. Someone can miss you without being willing to grow. Regret is just a reminder to them of what they lost, not a promise of what they can give. If you confuse their regret with your validation, you'll end up reopening doors that should have stayed closed. When someone loses you, the regret is their consequence. That's their mirror showing them what they wasted. Your role is not to soften it, not to make it easier for them, not to let them bypass the pain they earned. Your role is to keep moving. Because the moment you accept them back, you take their burden onto yourself. You let them believe they can break you, leave you, disrespect you, and still come back whenever they feel like it. That's not strength, that's self-betrayal. Respecting yourself means letting them sit with their regret, letting them learn the hard way that not every loss can be repaired. Not every mistake gets a second chance. Regret is supposed to teach people. That's how growth works. If someone loses a real one and feels the weight of it, that pain should push them to change. How they treat people in the future. It should teach them to recognize value before it's gone. It should show them that love, loyalty, and respect aren't guaranteed. They're privileges that can be lost, but if you take them back every time, you rob them of that lesson. You make it too easy. You give them the comfort of knowing they can mess up without consequence. And when people don't face the full weight of regret, they don't evolve. They repeat. They'll end up back in the same pattern because you rescued them from the very thing that was supposed to change them. You can care about someone and still refuse to carry their regret. You can love them and still not allow them back into your life. That's not bitterness, that's boundaries. It's not about punishing them, it's about protecting yourself. Because once you've healed, once you've grown, once you've found peace, you can't afford to go back to the chaos that broke you. You can't afford to let their regret become your burden. Carrying it will only weigh you down, pulling you back into the same cycles you fought so hard to escape. Think about it like this. If someone drops a priceless jewel in the dirt and later regrets losing it, the jewel doesn't lose its shine. The jewel doesn't owe them a second chance to hold it. The jewel remains valuable whether it's in their hands or not. Their regret belongs to them, not to the jewel. That's you. You are not defined by who mishandles you. You are not responsible for fixing the pain they feel after realizing what they lost. Your responsibility is to keep shining, to keep moving forward, to keep protecting your value. Regret is a teacher, but it only teaches the person who feels it. That's why you can't take it on yourself. You can't make it your job to heal someone else's wounds when those wounds were caused by their own choices. If you step in to fix it, you take away the very thing that was supposed to grow them. Let them feel it. Let them learn from it. Let them sit in it until it forces them to change. That's not cruelty. That's accountability. There's also freedom in refusing to carry someone else's regret. It frees your spirit from constantly looking backward. It frees your energy from being tied to the past. It frees your mind from the constant replay of what if. When you stop holding their regret, you stop questioning yourself. You stop wondering if you should have done more. You stop believing that their actions reflect your worth. You start realizing their regret has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection of their blindness, not your lack. It's a reflection of their immaturity, not your failure. And the moment you internalize that, you walk lighter. You move forward without hesitation. You stop dragging dead weight into your future. That's what makes you unshakable, when you learn to separate your worth from their regret. When you understand that their late recognition doesn't define you, their apologies don't validate you, their longing doesn't mean you should return. You know who you are, you know what you carry, and you know that their lesson is theirs to live with. Regret belongs to the one who lost, not the one who was lost. Life is about motion. Every second, every choice, every experience is meant to push you forward. Growth is movement. Elevation is movement. Even healing is movement. You can't become who you're meant to be by staying stuck in the same place, repeating the same patterns, or revisiting the same past that already showed you it had nothing left for you. Moving backward is the easiest way to lose the progress you fought so hard for. That's why you have to protect yourself from the temptation of going back to what once was, even when it feels comfortable, familiar, or safe. Comfort isn't always growth. Familiar isn't always healthy. Safe isn't always real. Sometimes the past calls you because it knows it can't exist without you. But your future is waiting because it knows you can't exist without it. Going backward feels tempting because the unknown is scary. You look at the road ahead and it's empty, uncertain, filled with challenges you haven't faced yet. The past, even with its pain, feels predictable. You know the faces, the patterns, the outcomes. That familiarity becomes a trap. It convinces you that maybe going back isn't so bad. Maybe it'll be different this time. Maybe you can rewrite the ending. But the truth is, if the past couldn't honor you then, it won't honor you now. The people who disrespected you, the environments that drained you, the situations that broke you, they don't change just because you missed them. Moving backward doesn't heal what hurt you, it reopens what you already survived. And every time you revisit what you outgrew, you shrink yourself back into a version of you that no longer fits. Forward motion is painful, but it's necessary. Growth requires shedding old skins, leaving behind old versions of yourself, cutting ties with people who can't go where you're going. It hurts because we're wired to hold on. We want to carry the old love, the old friendships, the old habits into the new chapter, but some things can't cross over. If you drag them with you, they'll slow you down, they'll sabotage your progress, they'll keep you tied to a level you already graduated from. Moving backward isn't just about returning to old people. It's about returning to old mindsets, old fears, old limitations. And once you've tasted growth, once you've seen what's possible when you move forward, going back to that smaller version of yourself should feel impossible. You can't fit into the same cage after learning how to fly. The dangerous part about moving backward is that it disguises itself as love, as loyalty, as closure. Someone from your past reaches out, apologizes, says they miss you. The nostalgia hits hard and you start thinking about the good moments, forgetting all the pain that came with them. That's how backward motion traps you. It convinces you to rewrite the story in your head, highlighting only the sweet parts and erasing the bitter truth. But real growth means remembering clearly. It means holding on to the whole picture, not just the highlights. If someone or something pulled you down before, chances are it will again. If a space once killed your spirit, is not going to revive it now. The past already showed you what it had to offer. Respect yourself enough not to go searching for more where there's nothing left. Forward motion is about faith. It's about trusting that even if the road ahead is uncertain, it holds more for you than the road behind ever could. It's about believing that your best days aren't the ones you already live, but the ones you haven't seen yet. The past will try to convince you it was the peak, that you'll never find better, that you'll never experience love, peace, or success the way you once did. But that's a lie. That's fear talking. Fear doesn't want you to move forward because it knows once you do, you'll discover a version of yourself that's unstoppable. Fear wants you to retreat, to shrink, to settle. But faith pushes you forward even when your hands are trembling, even when your heart is heavy, even when the path is dark. Never moving backward also means respecting the lessons you've already paid for. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every failure came at a cost. You paid with your tears, your sleepless nights, your healing process. To go back would mean wasting all of that. It would mean paying for the same lesson twice. You already know what happens when you touch fire. You get burned. Why go back and test it again? Growth means learning, applying, and moving on. It means saying that chapter taught me what it needed to, but I'm not rereading it. Respect your growth enough not to throw it away for the comfort of the familiar. There's also power in knowing that forward motion doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean denying the past or pretending it never mattered. It means honoring it for what it gave you and then refusing to be trapped by it. You can remember the love without reopening the door. You can acknowledge the bond without keeping the connection. You can respect the role it played in your journey without letting it dictate your destination. That's what true maturity looks like. Understanding that some people and situations are stepping stones, not destinations. They were part of your process, not your permanent. And the only way to honor them fully is by continuing to grow beyond them. Moving forward requires discipline because backward motion is always easiest when you're tired. On the days when you feel lonely, the past feels like comfort. On the days when you're struggling, old habits feel like relief. On the days when you're doubting yourself, old voices feel familiar. That's why discipline matters. You can't just move forward when it feels easy. You have to commit to it even when it feels impossible. Discipline is what keeps you steady when your emotions are pulling you backward. It's what keeps you focused on the bigger picture when your heart is tempted by temporary comfort. Discipline says, I know what I deserve and I won't settle for less even when it hurts to wait. At the end of it all, forward motion is about freedom. When you refuse to move backward, you free yourself from repeating cycles. You free yourself from people who only knew the old you. You free yourself from the patterns that once held you hostage. You give yourself the chance to become everything you were meant to be. And that's the truth. You can't become your future self if you keep running back to your past self. You can't evolve if you keep revolving around the same old circles. The door to your destiny only opens when you stop looking over your shoulder and start walking forward step by step, no matter how hard it feels. Every person walking this earth is carrying something. Some carry weight that holds them down, and some carry purpose that lifts them up. The difference between luggage and legacy is what separates the two. Luggage is the baggage, old pain, old drama, old mistakes, the constant replay of regrets and what ifs. It's the heavy stuff you drag with you everywhere you go, slowing you down, draining your spirit, blocking your vision. Legacy, on the other hand, is the mark you leave behind, the impact you create, the seeds you plant to live beyond you. One keeps you stuck in circles, the other pushes you into something greater than yourself. That's why you have to choose carefully what you carry. You can't walk into your destiny weighed down with luggage when your hands are meant to be building legacy. Luggage disguises itself as familiar comfort. It feels safe to keep replaying the past, to keep reminding yourself of who hurt you, who betrayed you, who left you. It feels natural to keep dragging around guilt, shame, and doubt. That's what most people do. They drag their yesterday into their tomorrow, wondering why nothing changes. They let their past failures dictate their present choices, and then they wonder why they never rise. Carrying luggage means letting the weight of what was stop you from reaching what could be. It means letting pain define you instead of refine you, and the more you feed it, the heavier it gets until you're living trapped in memories instead of possibilities. Legacy, though, is a different kind of weight. It's not heavy, it's powerful, it's not draining, it's fueling. Legacy is about asking yourself what you're leaving behind when you're gone. Not the clothes, not the cars, not the titles, but the imprint you leave on people, on your community, on the world. Legacy is your story, your blueprint, your contribution. It's about how you live, not just how you die. The energy you put out, the example you set, the foundation you lay. That's legacy. And the truth is, you can't build it if your hands are too full of luggage. Every time you hold on to bitterness, grudges, and regrets, you're taking away from the time and energy that could have been spent creating something that lasts. Focusing on legacy means shifting your perspective. It means looking at your struggles not as baggage to carry, but as lessons to use. The pain you've been through doesn't have to stay as luggage weighing you down. It can become the wisdom that fuels your legacy. The betrayal that broke you can teach you boundaries that strengthen your future. The failure that embarrassed you can become the story that inspires someone else to keep going. The mistakes you made don't have to be luggage you're ashamed of. They can be part of the blueprint you leave behind, showing others how to rise after falling. When you shift from carrying your past to building from it, that's when you start living for legacy. People who focus on luggage always end up trapped in cycles. They keep repeating the same relationships, the same habits, the same doubts. They measure themselves by who left them or who doubted them. Their whole identity gets tied up in survival instead of growth. But people who focus on legacy see beyond the moment. They know life isn't just about what happens to you, it's about what you create from it. They understand that pain, joy, wins, losses, they're all raw material. Legacy is built when you take all of it and turn it into something greater. That's why you can't afford to waste time holding grudges. Every ounce of energy you spend replaying old stories is energy you could have used to write new ones. The thing about luggage is that it doesn't just slow you down, it blinds you. When you're too focused on what you're carrying, you can't see where you're going. You miss opportunities, you overlook blessings, you sabotage connections, all because you're too busy checking your bags instead of checking your vision. Legacy forces you to look forward. It forces you to ask, what am I building? What am I leaving behind? Who will remember me and what will they remember me for? That kind of focus clears your vision because it forces you to stop obsessing over what's behind you. You start living with intention instead of reaction. Legacy is not about perfection. It's not about never messing up. It's about how you rise after the mistakes, how you handle the pain, how you treat people along the way. You don't build legacy by being flawless. You build it by being authentic, resilient, and purposeful. When you live for legacy, you don't waste time proving yourself to people who don't see your worth. You don't waste energy fighting battles that don't matter. You don't let your past dictate your present. You start focusing on what you can create, who you can help, what doors you can open for the ones coming after you. That's why legacy feels lighter than luggage. It lifts you because it's bigger than just you. When you focus on luggage, you're chained to the past. When you focus on legacy, you're connected to the future. One keeps you small, the other expands you. And the choice is always yours. Every morning you wake up, you have to ask yourself, am I carrying luggage or am I building legacy? Am I letting yesterday control me or am I shaping tomorrow? Because you can't do both. You can't walk forward while looking backward. You can't build while you're dragging. You can't rise while you're stuck replaying what already happened. And here's the truth most people avoid. Building legacy requires sacrifice. It means letting go of the comfort of holding on to old pain. It means forgiving people who may never apologize, not for them, but for yourself. It means dropping the stories that keep you a victim so you can step into being a creator. It means taking responsibility for your life, even for the things that weren't your fault, because your legacy depends on what you do next, not what they did to you.